Hello, 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 everyone. It's Betsy here, and today we are looking at linear systems of equations. Linear means line, remember. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at these two equations we have here, and we're going to look to see where they intersect. Where they intersect is the solution to the system. Now, if the slopes were equal, the lines would never cross because they would be parallel and there'd be no solution. But as you can see, we've got different slopes here. So our lines are going to cross and we will have a solution. So let's get started. Now there's different ways you can graph y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. But for today, we're going to use slope intercept. And just as a reminder, slope intercept is y equals mx plus b. Your m represents the slope, and b represents the y-intercept, where your line will cross the x or the y-axis, excuse me. So that's the first thing we're going to look at in each of these equations. So let's start with the first one. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. So when I look at this equation, my slope, the coefficient for the x, or the number in front of the x, is negative 2/3. And b is positive 4. Now, I want you to think about what this line is going to look like when you graph it. The slope is negative, so your line has to be going down. The y-intercept is 4, so the line has to cross the y-axis at 4. So now that you have an idea of what it looks like, now we'll graph it. When you graph it, you start at B. So we're going to start here at B. And remember, B is the y-intercept. It's where the line crosses the y-axis. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. Now my slope is negative 2/3. When the slope is negative, I go down for the numerator and right for the denominator. You can go up and left if you prefer, but I just like to be consistent with one method. So I'm going to go from the 4, I'm going to go down 2 right here. And from there, I'm going to go right 3. 1, 2, 3. When you connect your first and third dots, that will make your line. So let's make a really nice line here. Okay, so there's about my line for my first graph. It's going down, it's crossing the y-axis at 4. Yay, we're doing good. All right, let's take a look at our next equation. So the first thing we're going to do is figure out what the slope is. The slope is the coefficient for the x, or the number in front of the x, which is 1/6. And b is the constant here, negative 1. Now, in your head, start thinking the slope is positive, so the line has to be going up, and it's got to cross the y-axis at negative 1. So now that you know what the graph has to look like, let's graph it. Where do we start? We start here at B. So I'm starting at negative 1, right there. Now my slope is 1/6. It's positive, so I'm going to go up and right. All right, so I'm going to go up 1 from where I started. So right here, negative 1, I'm going to go up 1. That puts me at 0. And then I'm going to go over to 6 right there. And we're going to make our line, a nice line to go through them. Boom, there we go. And as you can see, our lines intersect right here at 6, 0. And that is our solution. Yay, we did it. Now, I want to do one more problem with you, and the equations aren't going to be that easy. They're not going to already be in y equals. We're going to have to put them in y equals. So let's take a look at the next one. All right, here we go. We've got 2x minus 3y equals 3, and x plus y equals 4. Are either of these in y equals? No. We want them in, if we're going to use slope-intercept form, I want them in y equals mx plus b. And again, the number in front of the x, the coefficient here, is the slope. And the number, the constant, the number by itself is the y-intercept. Since neither of our equations are in y equals, we're going to put them in y equals. So let's go ahead and do that first of all. So I have 2x minus 3y equals 3. I don't want 2x minus 3y. We're going to take that positive 2x and move it to the other side by subtracting it. Whatever we do to one side of the equation is separated by the equal sign, we do to the other side. So now, if I look on my left side here, the two x's are gone. 2x minus 2x is 0. We need to take this negative 3y, don't forget about that minus sign, it's the same thing as a negative, and bring it down. And then I got negative 2x plus 3. And I cannot put that 2x plus that negative 2x plus 3 together because they're not like terms. So now I have negative 3 times y equals negative 2x plus 3. I don't want negative 3 times y. What do I want? Yes, I want y. So they're timesing by negative 3. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to divide everything by negative 3. Make sure you divide everything by negative 3. When I do that on the left side, you can see negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. Here, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and you get 2 over 3. And then you've got a positive divided by a negative, which is a negative. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. Now we have it in y equals. All right. Make sure you divide everything. Don't forget about the 3 at the end. That has to be divided by negative 3 also. You got to stay balanced. Whatever you do to one side of your equation, you have to do to the other. Let's get the other one in y equals. All right. Right now I have positive x plus 4 equals 4. I don't want x plus 4 equals 4 or x plus y equals 4. I want y equals 4. So we need to take that positive x and subtract it from both sides. Remember, the sides are separated by the equal sign. And when we do that, let's see what happens here. X minus x is gone. Now I could take this positive y and bring it down. Equals, I got a negative x and a positive 4. Now it's in y equals. And now that it's in y equals, we can go ahead and take a look at what we're going to use to solve this. So on the left side, I have 2/3 x minus 1. So let's take a look at what m is here. M is 2/3, which means it's positive. So I'm going to go up and right. And b is negative 1. And what does b tell us? Where the line crosses the y-axis. Our slope is positive, so the line's going up. Where is it crossing the y-axis? At negative 1. So make sure you have that in your head where they're going to cross. So they cross at negative 1. So let's go ahead and graph this one. So I'm going to get a nice red color here. We're going to start at b is negative 1, right there. And then we're going to go from there. We're going to go up 2 and right 2. 1, 2 right there. And then I got to go right 3. 1, 2, 3 right there. So there are my points for that one. Let's draw a beautiful line here. Beautiful line right through there. Is that a good line? It's a pretty good line. There. All right. Now let's take a look at our other line, our other equation. In the other equation, we have negative x. If you want to put a 1 there, you can. If that helps you to put that 1 there, right there, put a 1. All right. So our slope for this one, and I want to always write it as a fraction when I'm graphing. The slope is -1, so I'm going to put it over 1. And B is 4. Now, the slope is negative, so I'm going to go down and right. Again, you can go up and left if you prefer. And what does B tell us again? Where it's going to cross the y-axis, because it's the y-intercept. Now, in your head, what are you thinking? What does this line look like? Any idea what the line looks like? Anyone? What will this line look like? Do 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 do. I want you to think about it for a second before I say it. Do 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 do. We got it? All right. Our line is going to go down because the slope is negative and it's going to cross the y-axis at 4. So here we go. Where are we starting? We're starting at 4. So let's go up here to 4. Now what are you going to do? What do you think you're going to do from there? We're going to go down 1. We're going to look at the slope. The slope is -1, so we're going to go down 1 and right 1. And there is our point. Now we have to graph that. So let me get a nice little graph going here. Oh, I don't think I like that very much. Let's make it sure it's going through both points. There you go. So we'll just make our little dots a little bigger here. So that's where it's going, all right? And where they intersect is our solution. So where are these two lines intersecting? If I go over 3 and up 1, it looks like they're going to intersect. Oops. They're going to intersect at 3, 1. And that's our solution. And what does that tell us? If you put 3, 1 back into either of these original equations, you're going to get that answer. So let's look at the first one. If I put 3 in for x, so 2 times 3 minus 3 and 1 in for y, I should get this 3. So 6, 2 times 3 is 6, minus 3 is 3. It checks. Now let's look at the next one. Put 3 in for x and 1 in for y. 3 plus 1 is 4. It checks. So that's the point that's common to both lines when you're graphing it. All right. I hope this is helpful. We are going to go over the other methods of graphing linear equations, and then we're going to get into inequalities after that. So stay tuned. Thank you, and I hope you subscribe.